Good evening. My name is Angela Johnson Meszaros. I'm an attorney at EarthJustice, and I'm here representing the Sierra Club. Now, there are really two issues that are before you at this moment. One is, what's the project you're going to implement? And the other is, what's the adequacy of the environmental document that's currently before you? So the people in this room have been and will continue to be far more eloquent than I about how you ought to think about your project decision. But what I want to spend a moment talking about is the adequacy of the EIR that's before you. We've reviewed both the draft environmental EIR and the final environmental EIR, and we believe that it has significant problems, and as currently written, the document isn't lawful. Now, we submit extensive comments to the DEIR, and I encourage you to take a look at them. And as was just discussed and was acknowledged, the final EIR did nothing to address anyone's concerns, including the concerns that we raised. Generally, the project is flawed in two ways. Generally the document is flawed in two ways. There are technical flaws about how the EIR is addressing issues around air pollution, how it's addressing issues about earthquake risk, how it's describing and justifying the project. I won't go into any of those. But the other way that it's flawed is it fails fundamentally as an environmental document for the exact reasons. It fails fundamentally as an informational document for the exact reasons that person after person has come up to this podium to talk about. Now, as you've discussed extensively, there are alternatives that are not included in this document. Many times when these questions are raised, either from people in the audience or from people there on the dais, Mr. Zern gave a response that said, oh, we're looking at that. We've thought about that some more. There are other things that we could probably explore. Those things need to be in your environmental document. What the document is supposed to do, the fundamental purpose of CEQA, is to outline what's your project, what are its environmental impacts, and what are the alternatives. In this document, we have confirmation, has not laid out all of the alternatives. They need to be in there, they need to be put forward, and the City Council and this body need to be able to think about those things and piece together the project that's going to best meet the needs of Glendale, both of its environmental conditions and of its financial conditions. So, what I urge you to do is to think about this. The question that people are asking you to ensure that you've thought about is, how much clean energy can Glendale incorporate? What would be the cost associated with that? And how much can we step away from a proposal of gas at Glendale, at Grayson? CEQA requires you to be transparent about that. Fundamentally, the document is supposed to give the public assurances that alternatives were considered and those alternatives should be clear, they should be direct, and it should be to policy-making bodies such as this commission and the City Council to ultimately decide how those pieces fit together. When you review this final document, what you see is a document that explains all the reason why something can't happen. And what this commission ought to do is ask the staff to come back to you with all the things that can happen. And once you've answered that question, I believe that the residents here will be far more satisfied with the proposal moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.